Hello, good people of YouTube. Mountbatten here, and today, wargaming, 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 wargaming. You know how much this event sucks. It sucks so much, in fact, that you bailed on it last time you tried to bring it around. And yet, here we are, yet again, with one of these stupid Wishing Wharf events. Now, you might be thinking, Sealord, Wishing Wharf, I haven't seen that in the armory. Well, you probably haven't seen it because you aren't a dirty, filthy weeb. Because with the most recent collaboration with Blue Archive, Wargaming has gone and put all of these new Blue Archive ships into a Wishing Wharf event. Now, you also might be thinking, well, Sealord, who cares? They're just reskinned ships, right? Like, the Blue Archive Turpits, the Blue Archive Montana, and whatever else they had in the last go-round of the collaboration. Well, no, believe it or not, these are all actually new ships. Like, brand new ships to the game. We've never had them in the game beforehand. That's right, they are not simple reskins. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. But before we do, make sure you drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, and all of that jazz. Helps out immensely so on the YouTube side of things. So if you head on over to the armory, you head on over to the little Blue Archive logo, you click on that, and you will see the event. And yes, it is a Wishing Wharf like we said in the intro, and it works very similarly to the other Wishing Wharf events. Now, if you're new here, or if you're new to the Wishing Wharf event, what the heck is a Wishing Wharf? How does it work? Why does it suck? Well, a Wishing Wharf style event works by, as many other events do in the game, you achieving a supply of a certain new temporary token. In this case, they're what, Blue Archive tokens is what they're calling them this round? Yeah, Blue Archive tokens. So, you require some of these tokens. How do you get them? Well, it looks like this time you just outright buy them. You can get 100 Blue Archive tokens for 1,000 doubloons, 500 for 4,750 doubloons, 1,000 Blue Archive tokens for 9,000 doubloons. And you need so many of these tokens in order to cast a wish onto the Wishing Wharf. And when you cast a wish, you have a chance of getting one of the, in this case, one of the new Blue Archive ships and one of the older Blue Archive ships. You have a very small chance of getting those. It's like, what, 0.4 for the new ships, I think 0.5 or 0.6% chance of getting one of the older ships, which are just reskinned Turpits in Montana and Takahashi. So, you do that, and you might get a ship, but what you're more than likely going to get is something from the common rewards section, which you have a 96.9% chance of getting one of those rewards, which is credit, ship XP, commander XP, free XP, so forth and so on, along with some additional Blue Archive tokens. So the idea is that while you might not get a ship with your tries, you could potentially get enough of these Wishing Wharf tokens to keep on going, get some additional wishes out of the Wishing Wharf. So unlike a random bundle where you only get, one chance per deposit of doubloons, you can potentially get a couple more out of however many doubloons you throw at the Wishing Wharf event, and every 6 try you're guaranteed to get a reward. This time around, it's commanders and a camo, which camo is useless, right? It's just there for cosmetics. I guess you can see it as free credits. The commanders do have individual voiceovers, so there is that at least, but even then, the chance of getting them is pretty rare. So, where does the suckage come into place? Because this sounds like it's a random bundle, but you might get a couple more chances out of it. Well, unlike a random bundle, and unlike containers in general, and how most of the ship gambling works in this game, you don't get a reroll. What is a reroll? Well, a reroll is, let's use the Santa containers as an example. That's probably the most common container most of you guys have experience with. The way a Santa container works is that, of course, there's all those ships in that container. If you pull a ship from the container, and then the game picks a ship that you already have, let's say, I don't know, a Roma. You get a Roma, and you already have a Roma. the game will automatically re-roll until it lands on a ship that you don't have. So even if it rolls for a Roma and you have a Roma, then it rolls for like a Kid and you have a Kid, it'll keep going till you get, let's say, a Tirpitz and you don't have a Tirpitz. So there you go. Your luck has managed to provide you with a ship, regardless if you have it or don't. The container will keep rolling until it finds a ship that you don't have. That doesn't work here on the Wishing Wharf. On the Wishing Wharf, even if you get a ship, if you have it already, it does not automatically reroll. Instead, you get compensation for that ship, which in some cases, it's not that great. Like the last Wishing Wharf event, the Golden Wishing Wharf event, they really cut down the compensation that you would get for the premium ships that are being given away in that event over the previous event. So even if you have a ship already, you don't get another ship. Now, even though you do get compensation, you might be thinking, okay, well, at least you get additional tries out of it. The percentages are so low in the first place that it's not guaranteed you're going to get a ship with that next set of tries. Like this time, you have a 3.1% chance of getting a ship. And again, 0.4% chance per each of the new ships, 0.5% chance for each of the older ships. So let's say you do get one of the new ships. You turn around and you throw your compensation tokens back into the Wishing Wharf. You very well might get just a reskin Tirpitz, a reskin Montana, or a reskin Takahashi, which is obviously less desirable than these new ships. Now, you might be thinking, how much compensation do you get for these ships? Well, it's a little bit better than the previous Wishing Wharf event, where, again, it was just terrible. For context, you do need 100 tokens per wish in this event. So every 100 tokens is a wish. So if you get the Tirpitz, you get 650 tokens back. You get the Takahashi, you get 1,075 tokens back. The Montana's 1,550 tokens back. I'm going to butcher these names because I have no idea what Blue Archive is or anything, so I apologize. But for the Tier 8 Italian battleship, the Bina, you get 650 tokens back. For the French one, I'm not even going to try and attempt to pronounce that. Well, for the other three, let's just say you get 1,075 tokens back, with the exception of the Arona's Well, which is the I-5644. You get 1,550 tokens back. So, kind of a lot better than the last event, but I still don't like these Wishing Wharf events either way. So, essentially, you get anywhere from 6 to 10 or 15 tries back, depending upon the tier of the ship you get out of the event, which, again, is a lot better than the previous Wishing Wharf event. But the other strange thing is that these are, again, actually new premium ships that they've decided to release in this fashion. Now, to be clear, I don't know if Wargaming is planning on releasing these ships in a normal way. I would think so, because they spent time developing the models for these ships and all that jazz. So I don't know why they would just lock them behind a Weeb event. Maybe. I would think, because I mean, it's Wargaming, right? Why would they not want to double dip selling the same ships? Obviously. So I would think that they would be coming out in a more normal fashion at a future date, but this is how they're coming out right now. If you're wondering what ships these are, again, I'm going to absolutely butcher the weeb names for these ships. Like I said, the Arona as well is the I-5644, which is the Tier 10 Japanese submarine. How do you say this thing's name? Oh, boy. Well, we'll start. I can actually say the weeb name easier. The BA Hovercraft is the new Tier 9 Premium Russian battleship, the Zarya Zabadi. Zovbadi. Yeah, it's the Zarya. So that's that. And then the French cruiser, the one I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce again, that is the new Tier 9 Premium French cruiser, the Le Harvey. That is the secondary Brest. And then the Italian battleship, the Bina, is the Colonna, which apparently has SAP secondaries. Pretty interesting, right? So that's what those ships are. This is, in my memory, the first time in a while that they've released what were originally announced as standalone premiums in an event like this. Like, I know, like, the Warhammer ships are a little bit different, and some of the Journey to the West ships are a little bit different, but those were announced as, like, their own ships. Like was it the Baji? Like, the Baji was announced as its own separate ship from, well, it doesn't have another name, right? We weren't told, oh, this is the Colonna, but now it's the Bina, So there's that. I'd like to think, again, that Wargaming is going to release the normal version of these ships, because there are quite a few of these ships I was quite interested in, like the Colonna and the La Harvey, a secondary breast. I like the breasts, right? So a secondary version of that was pretty interesting. I-5644. I actually really like the I-56. So, an updated version of that at tier 10. Yeah, I'm pretty interested in that through and through. So, don't know when or if these ships will be coming out in their normal fashion, just that if you want them, they're unfortunately stuck in this terrible Wishing Wharf event. Which, Wargaming, you know how terrible this event is. The players rioted when it was mentioned that this was going to be a thing in the Golden Week event. What was that? 3 months ago, something like that, and thankfully they pulled it from the shop. Now, it does seem that at least they've listened to some of the complaints, in that the compensation is actually fairly decent if you get a ship that you already have this go around. But I mean, still, I don't like this event. I really don't. When you can get lucky and get a ship that pull a ship slot in the first place, and it's a ship that you already have, because who's going after these ships? Well, unless you really, really want like an I-5644 or like the Colonna, it's probably not, the average Joe. It's the Blue Archive fans who already have the Blue Archive Turbines, the Takahashi, and the Montana. So now they're going back into this event to gamble for the new ships, and they could very well pull a Turbines, a Takahashi, or Montana that they already have, and now they have to keep going and potentially throw a lot more money into the event to get these new ships. Now, you might be thinking, well, Sealord, they are selling these ships outright. That they are. But, as always, say it with me, it's in an Admiral pack. And plus, it's time, too. So, like, right now, the Bina, the Tier 8 Italian SAP secondary battleship, she is being sold for the low, low price of 24,750 doubloons, which is a lot. That's a lot for a tier 8 ship, because it's an Admiral pack, because you get the ship, the commander with 10 skill points, 3 million credits, a bunch of blue economic bonuses and such. You can't just buy the ship, right? And another thing, too, talking about FOMO, this one's only available for 4 days. And then after that, I think the French one's up next, and then the Russian battleship, and then the I-5644, 18 days later from now. And, of course, these are all going to be in Admiral bundles. I don't even want to know how much the I-5644 is going to cost being a Tier 10 in an Admiral bundle. It's just ridiculous. So it's either you drop 24,000 doubloons on a Tier 8 ship. Well, again, it's just going to get more expensive from there. 24,000 doubloons, that's right under $100 worth of doubloons for the ship. So you either got to throw $100 at the game to get the ship, or you have to gamble away in the Wishing Wharf event, which you very well might spend more than $100 in that. So, I don't like the Wishing Wharf event. Again, I'm not a fan of Blue Archive. I have no idea what the show's about, but I think this is absolutely gross and hyper-aggressive monetization from Wargaming here. And like, I know, these collaborations cost money, obviously. Both sides are in it for it, and I'm sure they're splitting the profits and such. But my God, this is a little extreme, in my opinion. It always seems that these anime crossovers are incredibly expensive. Like, my God, what was the last one that was mega expensive? I can't think of the name of it, but I'm sure you guys will remember in the comments down below. Again, I get it. Wargaming's got to make money. Got to make money to keep the servers on and stuff. But this is a lot, and it does suck too that these are new ships that myself, I'm sure, a good amount of you guys were waiting for to come out. Again, hopefully they'll come out in a more normal fashion. I'd like to think so, but I guess we'll see going forward. But anyway, guys, let me know what you guys think about this event in the comments down below. Hope you guys have a wonderful Saturday, wonderful rest of your weekend. Hope to catch you guys in the next one.